What's up, gamers, gamers, and gamettes? My name is John, and welcome back to Memento of Spring. Last time, basically, we got to see a glimpse of our shining retainer, or knight, or warrior. I don't know what I'm calling her retainer. To be honest, it seems more fitting to Amelie. So far, we just seen a glimpse on what she looks like, and she's like talking about life and how she has to deal with the Princess of Calamity of Juliane. And now we get to meet a sorceress or teacher or something about the academy. So let's continue from where we left off. Her public records consist of a very few hesitantly scribbled and half burnt notes from her past tutors. Do you really want to know? A part of me does, but a bigger part of me doesn't. Then I'll see to wish of the majority. In any case, I'm here as the Academy's next sacrificial lamb. If the Calamity Princess is inside, may I introduce myself to my maker? So she was already resigned to her fate. With expectations that low, she may yet survive the night. Of course. But we weren't expecting you for another week. Was there a change in the schedule? No, I opt to arrive earlier. Frankly, I'm not sure why a tutor was penned down to arrive so late in the first place, since it would mean Juliane would go almost an entire month without one. But when I asked the administrator in charge of the appointment, I was only told that it was necessary the precaution. Something about needing to be fully at peace before dealing with that blasted demon girl from the void. Aha. Well, Juliane has been known to be a handful. Yes, I gathered as much. Frankly, if I don't see her spitting the fire every hour of the day, I'll be disappointed. I really wish she wouldn't jinx herself like that. Regardless, I apologize if I disrupt any schedule Juliane had planned. I did request a message by sent beforehand, but it looks like it never arrived. It's okay. The only schedule that the girl has or adheres to is her meal times. I'm not sure if she follows anything else that could be disrupted. I see. I'm looking forward to seeing Juliane myself. I'm sure that more than a few of the rumors are false. Or rather, I hope they are. Well, I'm glad you're coming into this role with an open mind. The only letter I've received said I should put all my faith in your teaching abilities. It listed some of your accomplishments, Professor Hazelden. I'm actually quite stunned. I expected someone far older. As you should. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm no Professor Hazelden. Huh? Sadly, Professor Hazelden has taken an unexpected and very sudden leave of absence. I'm here as her replacement. I marveled at Juliane's abilities. Now that she could vanquish her teachers before they arrived, her powers grew every day. Has something happened to Professor Hazelden? Yes, she's come down with an extreme case of traumatism. Somehow, a very secure bookshelf landed specifically on one little toe, hours before she was due to set out. I hear it was quite the accident. Once again, I'm sorry for the disruption of any arrangements you've prepared. If it helps, I'm the only one here in her place temporarily. Professor Hazelden will recover no matter how much she claims otherwise. The matrons at the Academy are quite exceptional. Oh, it's no trouble at all. You're the one who traveled all the way here. The chapel is in the best shape, but please feel free to make yourself at home, Professor. I am not a professor, I am a researcher. And my name is Autumn. Autumn. Apologies. I should have introduced myself at the beginning. I'm not used to long journeys. It's fine. I'm Amelie, as you know. And as you know, also on the top, I'm not a professor either, or a research. I am Juliane's guardian. It's a pleasure to meet you, Autumn. Yes, same. My warmest regards, Amelie. Thank you for rescuing me from the steps of this chapel just in time. Well, if the person inside actually bothered answering the door, she wouldn't need rescuing at all. Now, shall we head inside? It's been a tiring trip from the capital, but I'd still like to meet my student before having my room and board settled. Of course, I'll show you to her. Although, may I ask why you're researching? Why a researcher is here instead of another professor? Classes would be very slow if every professor had to hobble around with a broken toe. Transition. Well, it's certainly chapel. I'm not sure why I feel so surprised. I think I expected to walk in and find it more hostel-like. Hostels don't take Juliane because of her demanding living arrangements. Yes, let's go with that. I think this chapel is the last refuge that would take her here. It's only the corner in the kingdom that hasn't heard of her yet. I don't think she minds. It's a lot more comfortable than the last place she was holed up in. And as you can see, she gets this place to herself. It does feel spacious, early, sir. I see you weren't exaggerating when you said Juliane was occupying the chapel. The sisters really aren't here. No, they left rather quickly, all things considered. Very quickly, actually. I wasn't going to inquire about it, but I'm a little curious. Even if the sisters were willing to take Juliane in, why would that necessitate them vacating the premises? What about their duties? Excuse me. I'm a little uncertain on the details, but I think they might be receiving an incentive to let Juliane utilize all the space here. An insensitive. I think the Academy wants Juliane to stay in one place for once in her life, especially since it's relatively close by. So yes, an incentive. Did the Academy seriously bribe the sisters away from their official duties just to ensure that they could keep an eye on Juliane? Well, I'm sure the sisters didn't mind. It's a small town and donations are hard to come by. I understand. Yes, it is a harsh world after all. And with that conversation forever settled, I decided to call out the Calamity Princess. No doubt she was already doing her best to ignore our chatting, wafting into her bedroom. Juliane, there's somebody here to see you. Juliane, are you there? Juliane. Usually, I conjured her by announcing the arrival of food, but the thought of letting Juliane's new tutor witness the spectacle so soon made me feel appalled. Is she not in? No, she's not in. How do you know she hasn't stepped outside? Because you can still hear the children. I'm sorry, I don't... Oh, here she is. Dots. Ellipses. I told you to bring me food. Oh, you son of a gun. Does this look like food to you? And just like any normal day, she did nothing but showed rudeness to a complete stranger behind me. Juliane had trouble making friends. This? Excuse me, are you referring to me? You betcha. Young lady, even if you don't know my name, please at least address me as if I'm human. Sure thing, old hag. Oh my god! Yes, she really had trouble making friends. Dots. Autumn reacted with a typical wariness. Despite the doomsaying and rumors, I doubt she expected to be immediately attacked by sheer bluntness of Juliane's impoliteness. This measure of introduction wasn't a low for Juliane, but the absolute standard. It didn't matter that Autumn hadn't even accidentally insulted her pride yet. She was a tutor from the academy, and therefore...
Another stook from the school, huh? A bit quicker this time, though. Are you gonna a bonus for starting early?
I don't even know how much I'm being paid.
So a stoke who doesn't even know what they're worth. You might want to head back and negotiate a bit before you get ripped off, you know. Your employees are pretty close to pace on the floor as far as common decency goes. Don't worry, I'll wait for you.
Thank you for the advice, but I think I'll stay. How could you tell if I'm from the academy? I've heard about the exemplary talent, no, your gift for magic, although I'm consoling it. Are you the atone to arts that you can preserve me as a competent sorceress?
Lady, you're wearing a ridiculous party dress and enough jewelry to put on the local bandit into early retirement.
Excuse me?
Tropical birds in the snow stand out less than you. Only the old hags from the school who spend all days gawking at one of another have so little common sense. I'm telling you now, so don't complain later. You're gonna get robbed. Once you do, you can't cry, okay?
Wait. Stop right there. I have no intentions of getting robbed.
Okay, well, once you are, I don't want to hear any excuses afterwards. Really,
Oh my god.
Really, I've had it up on here with seeing you old hags bawling your eyes out because small town life isn't very pleasant after all. You're here to teach me magic, not to be taught about the realities of life. I don't want to deal with it. Seriously, everything echoes around here. I can hear the sobbing no matter where I hide.
Very well. I will take your warnings under consideration. But you don't need to call me old hag. My name is Autumn. I prefer if you use that instead. Incidentally, most people have names, even those at the academy. I hope you'll eventually learn to address your peers with the most modicum of respect. The ones paying for all your lodging, tuition, and living expenses, that is.
The ones paying to keep me from walking over there and engulfing them in a tornado of crimson retribution. What did you say?
What did you say?
I said, why are you early? You're a new tutor, right? That usually never happens. The one before you was late, and all the ones before that too.
Then I suppose I'm fortunate that my courage encountered no difficulties.
Neither did theirs. The last one took 2 weeks just to find their way here, from the inn across the street. I don't care what she says, I know what I saw and smelled. This is a crappy town, with more bars than people. I know what booze smells like.
In that case, I apologize for the poor punctuality of your previous tutors. I'm sure that they had their reasons.
They're bad reasons.
Regardless, that what was in the past, as you correctly discerned, I am your new tutor, and that is my only concern.
Your only concern should be working out of a contract for this job. I know for a fact that your reimbursement, you should get more than enough for your professor to get plastered every night and still have change to the top up the whole house too.
Putting aside how your last tutor spent her leisure time, I should clarify that I work in the Academy's research department.
What? So, you're a researcher?
Yes, I am.
Not a professor.
I am a qualified researcher.
But you're not qualified teacher?
I have no formal qualification regarding teaching in a classroom settled. No. However, this isn't required for private tuition.
So, you've got my experiences in a private tuition then?
No.
This is your first time teaching anything?
I've never been required to educate anyone before. Da-da-da-dots.
No qualification, no experiences. Why does it feel like old hags in the school are trying to be funny? How can researchers even do this stuff? You sure don't need at least some kind of license before you push students around.
Professor Hazelden, who was due to be your tutor, isn't well enough to be here. In the absence of a more substitutable replacement, I'm here to mentor you to the best of my abilities until she recovers. It shouldn't be any far to extend length of time. That fucking face, this fucking... Oh my god.
Let me get this straight. You're not only a fake teacher, but a fake substitute teacher. Wow, you're right to try the private tuition. A classroom would be a ninth circle of hell for you.
Then I suppose I'm very fortunate. Now, Juliane, do you intend to cause me any bad memories? Or will we have a productive partnership during the time asked of us?
Bad memories are what you create for yourself. If you want good ones, then you should use this time as a free holiday. You can pick up sewing, or coloring if that's up in your alley. I don't need a fake substitute teacher.
As very tempting as that sounds, I have a duty to instruct you until your intended tutor arrives. If that's not too much trouble for you, I'd like to fulfill this obligation.
That's gonna be tough. There's nothing you can teach me.
Excuse me?
Nothing. Sleech. Nada. You won't be able to teach me anything.
I could see Autumn's commitment draining from her eyes. Nah, nothing tore at the soul quite like a 12-year-old's boundless self-confidence. I see. And what makes you believe that?
There's nothing you could teach me, so there's nothing you could
Wait. Teach me? Oh, wait, did he repeat it? Alright, whatever.
You're just a researcher, so maybe you don't know about this, but I'm quite the genius already.
Yes? Well, your name is a familiar to everyone at the academy, for better or worse. Whether you're a former classmate, your former teachers, or the current architects still assessing the fireball-sized hole you put in the observator roof, every member of the faculty knows who you are.
It was an improvement.
An improvement? Excuse me, but how does blowing up a tower counts as improvement?
It's an arbitrary. You look up at the sky. The roof gets in the way of the sky. Help me out, lady. Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose?
Da-da-da-dots. Ha. I knew the recognition well. I considered telling her that she'd get used to it, but it was more likely to discourage her.
Anyway, if you know about me, then you should know why I'm a prodigy. Do you see me shifting in embarrassment when I say that? No, because it's true.
You smug little... Alright.
If you're not even a teacher, then there's nothing you can show me. The real ones didn't teach me anything either, except how to flee at the crack of dawn.
All that means is that you're still learning. If you really did know everything, wouldn't you already be called maestro and not a prodigy? Ooh! I'm sure you'd like to graduate from simply being referred to be as talented, wouldn't you agree? Da-da-da-dots.
Talented? Talent is what failures possesses in order to look like the tallest weed in the bog. Me, I'm gifted, and what do gifted people do? They build their own bogs.
Oh my god, that face. Da 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 da. Oh my god, the faces are real. Oh, oh my god, it's a stare down. I see. Well, I'm very patient, Juliane. And I'm not the very least bit concerned with how your past tours fared either. If you feel that they're very inadequate, then perhaps it was because they've grown accustomed to their regular teaching environments. However, this would not be a burden for me.
Because you're a fake substitute teacher with no prior experience.
Yes, I know what I am. Thank you. You already said it several times. You don't need to say it anymore. But even as a fake substitute teacher, are you confident that there's nothing I could teach you? Even in my classical knowledge is partial compared to those you've worked with before. My experience as a researcher means that every modern developer of spellcraft is yours to learn about. That is, if they're within their limits of your capabilities and understanding.
Heh. Are you trying to bait me? Like I said, I'm gifted, like super gifted. Being capable falls under that wording. The only thing you'll be able to teach me is a new type of expression when you marvel at my brilliance.
As much as you believe that, I'm afraid I have no expectations. I do not know you, and never seen your abilities. Hearsay means nothing to me. But if you'd like to remediate this, I welcome the opportunity. Juliane, what I'm saying is that even if it was only a few days, let's make the most of them. Your last tutors may have abandoned you, but I will not. Will you at least give me that chance, or are you willing to dismay me out of hand simply because I'm just a researcher?
You can spare me the cringe. I'm not like... it's not like I said no. Arguing is tiring, and I don't care either way. You're leaving soon anyway. But you say you can teach me stuff outside the curriculum.
As I said, within the limits of your...
Because I already know everything important in all the standards compendium.
What do you mean with all the compendiums? Bleh, excuse me. I probably said that wrong too.
Meaning I've read everything needed to advance the next 10 years. In other words, I can spend the next decade sleeping and eating while everyone else catches up with me.
If that's the case, as highly unlikely as that is, then I'm sure I'll hunt down something new for you to learn. And I really hope that your reason for somehow mastering the entire curriculum wasn't to earn yourself the right to trot.
I'm only following the example of my teachers.
Yes, well, please do not learn that from them. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on with you in the academy, but my only role here is to do my best best I can in the time given to me. Alright. With that said, shall we begin immediately? It's still afternoon, and I'd like to become acquainted with your immeasurable prowess. Da-da-da-dots. Juliane snuck back into her room.
Sit wherever you want, just not on the bed.
Thank you for accepting my tutorage. With a hesitant, if relieved look, Autumn followed after her into the den. Little did she know, I was twice as relieved as she was. Compared to the first meeting with her previous tutor and all the broken pews that involved, that was positively civil affair. Transition segue back outside the chapel. With Juliane's less of the tactic approval, they began their lessons into the unexamplable. I never sat in, nor did I wish to, so whatever mystery they tried to solve or disasters they concocted for fun was both out of sight and out of mind. Thus, with Juliane safely preoccupied with impressing her new tutor, my role was now to make myself scarce and leave them well alone to destroy the world at their own leisure. I sat on the steps of the chapel, enjoyed the sunset, write my daily alum letters to the academy, and to ward off the pilgrims looking to make their way inside. At least that was the plan. Oh gosh, it's her again. The moment I saw the girl from the market, all my instincts told me that watching the aftermath of Juliane's lessons would been a better choice.
Oh, what a coincidence. It's the girl with the shoddy armor. Guess that means I'm definitely on the right track, huh?
The girl with the shoddy armor. Somehow I never once found myself that aggrieved whenever Juliane calls me an old hag. Then again, maybe it's because Juliane calls everyone that. To her, once you were past the age of 13, you were a crone with a walking stick, no exceptions.
Ah, it's you again. How may I help you? Are you looking for the sisters? I asked in vain, buying time as I thought it of an excuse to leave out without sounding rude. Impossible.
Sisters? No, not unless one of them is the girl from the picture. Still haven't seen her, I take it?
She flourished it again. I didn't even look at it. It was partly out of guilt, but mostly because I didn't want to see the girl's face so perfectly captured with the devious smile intact. As such, as I shook my head and said nothing, basically anything to stop Decent from leaking out my voice.
I see. Well, whatever, you still help. Thanks for your tip earlier. I'll check out the rooftops by the dock. Would you believe it? I found some no-lifers lounging on the tiles like a mob of unruly monkeys, but with faces of barbarous as fully grown gorillas. It was a dreadful on eyes, as almost as much as your armor. Speaking of which, have you used the magical handkerchief yet? No, of course you haven't. Please do, okay? I can vouch for it if its effects.
The magical handkerchief. The more I thought about the random item of dubious magical quality gifted by an outright stranger, the more I wondered why I still carried it.
Anyway, I told the owners of the building about the upstairs intrusion that they lived. Naturally, I helped shoo the gorillas away.
I see.
I received a lot of gratitude to that. Afterwards, I asked around, apparently, the leader of the gorillas like spending their day off around here. At this chapel. Can you imagine that? Thieves and scoundrels using a chapel for their nefarious deeds. Doesn't it leave a bad taste in your mouth? My voice is killing me. Hold on, give me a second. Oh my gosh.
Good tea. Well, when you put it like that, but I never seen any thieves or scoundrels or gorillas around here.
Never.
Do you hang around here often then? Quite often. I mean, I do live here, after all.
You live here? What? You're one of the sisters? Is that why you wear such a shoddy armor? More donations if you look poor?
I ground my teeth.
It's a long story.
Haha, if you say so. Sorry, but I don't have much time at the moment. Since you live here, I take it if you've seen a girl with pink washed hair and stolen goods leaking from her pockets recently. You know, the one from the picture.
No.
Da-da-dots, da-da-dots. We stared at each other. Two strangers united in understanding that I was a terrible liar.
My ass, what she did?
I never said she did anything. For all you know, I could be returning a lost bullet.
What a relief. I wasn't the only one who wasn't a terrible liar.
If you happen to have lost anything, I could try locating it for you.
Yeah, you'll do that?
That's pretty generous of you. I happen to have lost a tremendous amount of things. I'm a tragic klutz. This time, it's pretty embarrassing. I own a little boat moored at the docks, but everything on it seems to have a misplaced, even things that were bolted down, such as my ship's wheel. Would you be able to locate my things? The wheels is particularly important. I try not letting my groan show. A ship's wheel? Why would you need a ship with wheel of all things? I can do my best. You can? Maybe. Alright, I'll leave it to you then. I have high hopes for you. And one day, maybe my things could just mark down where they are. And I'll do the heavy lifting. All of it? It sounds like you misplaced quite a lot of stuff. Quite a bit of stuff, blah. Don't worry about it. If you can find it, I'll handle the rest. No complaints. Well, okay. How will I contact you, miss? My name is Constance. And don't worry, I'll know. She turned around and casually strode away, disappearing into the nearest street. With parting words like that, her exit could only have sounded more villainous if she cackled as she went. Thus, I resigned myself to an afternoon backbreaking before I committed to that. However, I could at least have a few minutes to relax on the warm steps beneath the sunshine, if only to prepare myself of the grueliest search ahead. Autumn. That is, if I choose to ignore the tutor with several strained expressions who was marching past me without a word. How long did she last? 15 minutes? It was longer than most. Autumn, is there something the matter? I am leaving. My early optimism turned to despair. Wait, no, just wait a moment. Is there something wrong? Maybe I can help. What happened? She sighed for the both of us. I'm not sure where to begin. Julian has no concept of proper procedure. Since nobody at the academy could give a satisfactory answer in regards to her current level of the syllabus, I asked her to describe where she felt she was. However, instead of giving me a simple and straightforward answer, she immediately inquired why I wanted to know. I replied that I wanted to prepare the correct learning material for her to cycle through before we move on to the secret new stuff she demanded to know. As much as she boasted up about her optimism, I need her to demonstrate where she is in the curriculum. But for some reason, she took this extremely poorly. Juliane, even after only judging from the first impression, I can only say that she's exactly as she described. She really does have a dim view of anything and anybody related to the academy, does she? That's putting it lightly. I see. And what happens after she took your request poorly? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The conversation never evaluated past this stage. She demands that I stop wasting time and simply show her all the forbidden invocations I know of, something about lost tomes and forbidden grimoires. Oh, God. I believe she mistaken my role as a researcher for a cursed librarian. Well, after that, she then proceeded to cast insult and after insult on my age. This is the abridged version. I don't understand her impatience. I cannot teach her anything without first verifying her aptitude to some kind of standard, any standard. But she wouldn't listen when I explaining this. In fact, I believe that my presence no longer registrates her to her. How long would it take to go through this review? A cursory assignment that would take a few hours, less than she really is a prodigy she claims to be. It'd be wasteful to teach her anything she cannot comprehend. I do not understand why this is even a problem. A
A few hours? Would that even involve settling down and using a pen? It would. Why? Is that a main problem? I don't think I've ever seen her using a pen before. You never seen her use a pen? Didn't she take notes when her past tutors were providing guidance? Well, I only saw bits and pieces of her lessons. But from that what I could see, she never paid enough attention to make note-taking very necessary. Then how does she learn? Is it through self-study? I don't think so. Did you see any books in there? No, but I'd rather hoping there were located elsewhere in the chapel. If she's neither using books nor tutors, then how does she advances her skills? I'm not at the stage where I can simply believe that she sponged up everything that is possibly known through sheer want. I'm sorry, but I'm just her guardian and not the particular long either. She doesn't really speak to me but about anything other than her dietary needs. I do not know anything about her education history. Still, the fact that she accepts you as her guardian is marked victory. It's not only regarding tutors that only I've heard tales of woe. However, if she truly is absorbed of all the standard compendiums, as unlikely as that is, what does she do now? She sleeps, eats, and makes threatening glares at the children outside. Quite the prodigy. It's certainly heartening to know she puts her talents to good use. Well, that's all more the reason to develop her abilities further, isn't it? If you leave now, then she'll end up lazing about even more. Please, there's no need to look so alarmed. It blocked my record. If I would abandon the task so quickly, it meant I was said earlier, I will do my best. I'm just leaving to my asses my options. I'll try my best to prepare a suitable lesson plan for tomorrow. Since I know everything, I've painstakingly drawn out of the redundant. Still, if I cannot convince her to demonstrate her knowledge of the curriculum, then perhaps I can goad her into it. That sounds quite practical. I can see why Juliane strikes so much apprehensions in hearts of the faculty. I'll find a way though. Now then, where should I have my belongings taken? I left them with the carriage at the entrance of the town. Am I residing in the local inn? Or has the private accommodations been arranged? The familiar sensation of panic swelled within me. This was one of the daily experience since Juliane trembled into my life. I'm sorry, but I am only responsible for Juliane. I do not know how the academy has arranged for you to stay. Did Professor Hazelnut not inform you? When I last tried speaking with her, she was wailing in agony. The only information I received was from the administration and that they only directed me here. Barely. Quite frankly, I'm shocked that I'm located that both of you without hardship considering how determined everyone is to forget about Juliane. It wouldn't be surprising if you found another chapel to reside in and nobody would be able to tell where. Well, that shouldn't be a problem. Juliane's not really a moving type of person, or working. She lives inside her bedroom, but on occasion she might wander out into the hall and stretching her legs. But aside from the children and sunlight, she doesn't seem to like it in it here. Excuse me. You make it sound like she never leaves the chapel. Well, I suppose it's not strictly necessary as long as I deliver lunch, dinner, and breakfast to her in the precise order. Oh, but it does mean I know all the local inns pretty well. They're where I purchase food from where the market is close. Sometimes I see one of Juliane's teachers. Oh my god, while they're taking themselves at the bar. after the lessons, so it is possible that the room's waiting for you in one of them. Ah, more stories of her former tutors. Would you know which inn they enjoy frequent the most? I'm sorry, I don't. But if you like, we can visit them one by one, and until we can confirm reservations for the absent professor. It's not particularly large town, and most of the inns are clustered together anyway. One by one, huh? Even though there are most disappointments in Autumn's voice, I could tell that the barometer measuring my usefulness was slowly flickering every backward. No, it's fine. You'll have your own duties to attend to. If you could direct me to where the inns are, that'll be enough. By the sound of it, Juliane relies on you greatly for her survival. Frankly, I don't envy the role. Ah, you'll get used to it. I can point you to where you need to go, but what if you can't find a reservation? At worst, I'll simply hire a room. I have some money on me. I'll just have to make sure that Professor Hazeldup receives a copy of the bill. I'm sorry, this must be a... I'm sorry, this must be such a big, huge bother for you. Not least because you were the only one just to ask to come here. My personal inconveniences is secondary. Clearly, the Academy believes that despite the cheeky history, Juliane has a role to play in the future. So even if there only was a few days, I simply have to do the best of the task given to me, staring at trying to find out where I'm staying. Ah, dang. Autumn giving another incubate sigh. She do with a few hundred more times before this all over. I at least hope Juliane warms up to my presence. I offer this silent prayer of her behalf. Maybe since we're on the steps of the chapel, there was a bigger chance that someone was paying attention. Transition. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it off for right here for right now. It's been a good enough long episode for this. And I'm tired. My voice is killing me. So without further ado, guys, I hope you guys have a good night, good evening, good morning from wherever from. So peace out and sayonara, guys. Bye-bye.